Yo, I'm speechless, dog. I'm really speechless. Like I knew that shit was going to be fire. Yo, wait, hold up. I think in the last couple of scenes, they're actually showing all the locations that the Akudama died at. So like the bridge where Brawler died at. The I don't think anyone died there, but the miniature city, I think that is the crane location. Of course, it's snowing. And finally, honestly, let's talk about this season for a bit. Let's talk about this season, or at least this anime, the season of this anime. Probably never getting a second season since it closed off so beautifully. But this is one of those animes where even if you don't fuck with the story, you don't fuck with the characters, you should still fucking watch it because it's just so it's just so fucking good. The scenes, the animation, the compositions, like holy shit. Just for that alone, one could just watch this entire 12 episode anime. Just for that alone. Like, this isn't one of those anime that sparks a lot of discussions on Reddit and stuff. Or, like, how do you say it? A lot of controversy. Occasionally, you may have a discussion about certain death of a character. But even then, this anime is just so fucking insane. What I also really liked about this anime, it just kept everything very platonic. If stuff happened, they just happened, right? It wasn't one of those anime where they were like, we have our anime written. It's pretty good. How about we add a romance between the female lead and the male lead? Because why not? People enjoy romance. You know, even though you've kind of felt a connection between Hakubiya, aka Courier, I can't pronounce that goddamn word. But it's between Hakubiya and Swindler. I don't even know Swindler's actual name. I just realized that. I don't know any of their actual names. Yo, that's fucking insane to me, dog. That's fucking crazy. But like you felt the connection between those two, especially when you compare the connection they have with the other Akudama. So apart from like the two kids, like the connection Swindler has to the obviously the little girl who she now sees or saw, I guess, as her sister. She was pretty much closest with Akubiya, but in a kind of semi-romantic slash non-romantic way. Like, if this wasn't the anime that it was, if this wasn't the story that it was, if it just wasn't the world that it wasn't, if this wasn't set in the world that it was set in, this could have very easily been one of those shows with a female protagonist and a pretty boy dude in her quote unquote party who she then connects with, falls in love with, and that's the whole show pretty much. Instead, this show was focused on the shit that mattered. And that's most of all the character development these characters go through. Like, the girl had amazing character development. If you want a strong, goddamn female protagonist in your shit, this is the one. This is your strong female protagonist. All your social justice warriors are beating their dicks off to. She went from just a normal girl being put in a fucking bad situation with a lot of morals. Like, let's not lie, she was a very ethical and moral person, especially at the start of the show. But even then, she didn't look down on people like the Akudama. She was put in a shit position, but she didn't complain. She just went along with it, pretty much like any normal anime protagonist would. And she grew from it, put in a lot more shit situations, almost having her quote unquote new sister being sold into some weird kind of child trafficking ring. You know, that's a scene that happened in the abandoned factory with all the canned foods, where she got her first body, her first two bodies, I believe. Like, and then she even went as far as to be able to outsmart Cutthroat, who's literally the worst killer of all the Akudamas. If I guessing that correctly, since we obviously don't know the other Akudama that the world of the anime has. But yeah, she even managed to outsmart him. Her character development was through the fucking roof. Even even up till her last moment, she planned everything. She knew she was the one who started the initial rioting in the first place, right? Since she made this oh shit. I don't remember exactly what she did. I think she also made a video. It was just when just slightly before or after they tried to go to the moon with the rocket ship, you know. Uh, but yeah, she did that, and then she used that in this last episode, and pretty much turned it up to 11, and had the whole fucking city or region just going for it, man. Molotovs everywhere. Girl with a fucking blicky. Yo, be careful of the little girls in this anime, man. They dangerous as fuck. Like, the only thing I really missed in this anime, as good as Swindler's character was developed, the other Akudama kind of stayed characters for the most part. Like, for Hakubiya, it's kind of different because he started as like this cold motherfucker and he didn't really change, but we just got to know more about him, that he actually cared. I mean, he had this irrational, I will always complete my job from the very get go. We got a little flashback of him, and I guess it was his mother or someone who he cared about. That probably that he found out was dead on their couch after he came home. So he got a little character development in a different way. Instead of changing the character he became, we just got to know more of the character he actually was, which is also completely fine. It served its purpose in the story, right? So that was completely fine. But the other Akudama, Cutthroat, even Brawler, I guess I'm not going to say that the Doctor didn't get any character development, because her whole the whole point for her to be in the story was to be the kind of, hey, I actually don't give a fuck. All the Akudama are getting buddy, but I'm actually in it for myself, and I really don't give a fuck. I'm a doctor. What I want is immortality. That's my main goal. I want to achieve that, so let me do that. So she didn't have much character development, but she was put in the anime as a twist, kind of. So again, in that case, it's also completely acceptable to not have her change her character in any sort of way. But for the other characters, like I mentioned, Brawler and Cutthroat mainly, I would have liked to see a bit more backstory on them, at the very least. Because Brawler, he didn't change at all. He stayed I love fighting kind of character that he was from the very beginning. His death was done amazingly and very impactful because his death also resulted, of course, in the death of the main executioner that carried the whole show up until the last couple of episodes where his pupil took over. But yeah, so those two, Akudama, Cutthroat, and Brawler, they're I really missed their backstory. I really wanted to know a lot more about them. Hoodlum, amazing character. He tricked me, made me think, oh, he's also one of those very selfish people. Who was just in it for himself, just wanted the money and to stay as safe as possible. But in the end, he got so attached to his brother, his Aniki. And he did his little thing, man. He fucked up one executioner, took her eye out, then continued on and was pretty much responsible, partly for the death of the doctor, which is amazing. I mean, he also fucked her. Literally, he fucked her. Like, literally and figuratively in this situation, so that's a... Yeah, and we still don't know who or what she really is. Is she 50 years old? Is she 16 years old? Is she 18 years old? Is she 20 years old? We don't know. Is she a man or woman? Not a type of weird cyberpunkish creature? We don't know. Oh, Hoodlum, you crazy, crazy motherfucker. But yeah, great anime. Great fucking anime. Definitely top 3 of this season. I'm guessing it's going to depend on each person individually. Some people are just more into stuff like mystery, in which case stuff like Talentless Nana would be more in your ballpark, right? Because you're kind of every episode as you thinking, ooh, who's going to die next? Oh, who's the real culprit in this situation? Oh, wow, how is she going to get out of this situation? Is she caught? Is she isn't caught? And if you are kind of the shounen-esque person, stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen is really going to hit hard for you, right? By the way, Jujutsu Kaisen definitely the best shounen jump series ever. I would even rate it above Naruto and stuff like Bleach. I would say One Piece, but to be real with you, I've only seen like the first part of One Piece, kind of. So up until Luffy spent forever in a goddamn prison cell with that giant blue motherfucker. That's when I just stopped watching the anime. So that's as far as my One Piece knowledge goes. So I'm not going to say better than One Piece, since I really, really, really can't judge that. But so yeah, so this show, Akudama Drive, definitely top 3. Your own top 3 is going to vary for your own personal taste, of course. But yeah, just from the animation alone, if Jujutsu Kaisen didn't come out this season, I would give this definitely number 1 animation, because especially this last episode, man, they went insane. their budget, I don't know how large it was, but they went crazy. They went absolutely fucking crazy. Well, what else do I got to say about this amazing, amazing show? The Executioners. I kind of like the review how every real executioner got partnered with like a how would you say this, less experienced, fresh out of executioner school executioner, which then prevented them from simply rushing into dangerous situations and getting themselves killed, because for some reason they all were a tad bit suicidal, right? I feel really sorry for that new executioner dude that got introduced later. He had a fucked up life. Got a needle put on his heart, I believe, like a string. Almost died multiple times. He wasn't ready for this shit. He wasn't ready. And then at the end got shot by a goddamn little girl. That's tough. That's really, really tough. Oh, he had a tough life. But I like how the executioners were done. They weren't necessarily the bad guys. It was just that, sadly, the anime didn't have a very valid reason for most of the executioners to do what they did. Like, most of them just, especially at the end when they started offing just random people, they just came across as psychopaths, right? More so than most of the Akudama, which was just crazy. I would have liked the executioners to have been more of a gray area where they're neither good nor bad, but they're kind of needed to keep the peace. But I guess that happens when you create a show from the perspective of the quote unquote criminals. The police are always going to be the bad guys, are always going to be the adversaries. So there's nothing wrong with that, of course. Uh, Pretty much just expected at this point. But yeah, best fucking animation, except for maybe Jujutsu Kaisen. I would even put them two on the same level, for doing different things. Like Jujutsu Kaisen had more of a rough, more flowing animation style, and this show really, really popped by using those beautiful, beautiful scenes in between. Like, pretty much whenever I make one of these reactions, I like go through the episode, try to find something that looks good as a freaking thumbnail, right? And I just look through it, and this show, I kid you not, every fucking second works. Like most shows, they kind of have these scenes, especially in motion, where the animation takes a dip so that motion can be better conveyed, slash the money spent on animating those scenes wouldn't be as high. But that causes for a lot of scenes to have kind of awkward physicality, like human bodies moving in ways they're not supposed to, or just faces being barely drawn in, like just an eye and a mouth, for example, and the rest of the facial features kind of fall away. But this show, every frame, every scene was just out of this fucking world. Everything. I can stop this shit at any point, take a snapshot, and bang, I got a beautiful image. Use it as a goddamn background. for my desktop using as a freaking profile picture, whatever the fuck you want. Every image is freaking amazing. But I guess that's this mostly happens with kind of these original works when an anime doesn't have a manga or light novel it needs to adapt, and the producers, the artists, the writers can just go crazy with the medium, right? They planned 12 episodes. They managed 12 episodes. Every episode was great. Of course, there were a couple of slight episodes with a little less action, but that's always the case, right? You need exposition, you need character development, you need conversations between the characters. And this show did it amazing. It didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel slow paced. It didn't feel fast paced. Felt completely right. The only thing that I would have liked was to have more areas shown in the anime. I think I repeated the phrase, the only thing I would have liked, even though I would have liked multiple things. One of the things I would have liked this anime to do was really show us more of Kanto. Like, they pretty much, from the start to the end, repeated the same 4 locations. That is the train station, of course, the prison / police station thing, well, I guess not technically the same location, but if you put it at a destroyed area with a bunch of rubble and stuff 3 times in the same anime, they kind of start to overlap. So I would have liked a lot more of different places where these situations would have played out. Of course, they did show us that wacky ass Kanto region, which did make up for it. That was the Kanto reveal. That was from last episode 11. They did it well, all things considered. Like, personally, I wouldn't be able to come up with another way to showcase these quote-unquote overlords, these gods among people that this show made Kanto out to be, apart from going full sci-fi, pretty much going full, we combined our brain data into a entity that protects us and keeps us alive forever. So the Kanto review, all things considered, pretty decent. I really fucked with this anime. Akudama Drive, a 12 episode ride that never slowed down. Final claps. Thank you guys for following me on this journey. It was amazing watching these shits with you guys. And this was Akudama Drive, the last episode of the season. I'm out. Peace.